Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today, my group will be talking about an episode which is called Masculine Feminine in a series which is titled Emily in Paris. The episode is on episode 2, season 1 for the whole series. My group name is Haqim and Fauzan. Okay, Emily in Paris. What is it about? Emily in Paris is about the story of a life of Emily. Emily, who just moved to Paris for her new unexpected employment, which is for the position of consultant, for the marketing consultant for the company Savoir. In the story, Emily struggles with adapting to the changes of the culture and also to the changes of the friendship and love life, and also working experience that she faced in her time on Paris. Okay, moving on to the next slide. Okay, critical incident number 1. This scene depicts Emily, which has given a sarcastic task by her boss Sylvie, which proposed the job to her because she wanted to impress Emily for her job, because of her job, due to some emotional resentment from her boss Sylvie towards Emily. This scene shows that Emily worked very smart and very efficiently to navigate through the job or task that was given to her, even though she initially did not like the job that was given to her. Okay, next slide. Okay, what do we find that intrigues us about this scene? These scenes clearly show the ethical actions of a worker that shows how she or he works in a difficult environment that give her many job or tasks that she would consider to be a burden for herself because of the demands of the job. Therefore, the working smarter is one of the aspects that a worker must have, because it creates a space and opportunity for workers to improve and also to realize that there are spaces for them to dominate. For instance, they could master, or they could be good at a certain aspect that they have considered to be an error or a weakness for them. They could improvise toward that point. What is the effect if a worker works smart and helps to improve himself and also the others? It affects the process of how the workplace or the workplace environment flows, and also it shows how efficiently a workplace can produce the most quality product by having workers that constantly work with diligence and also with care for the details. Other actions that could be an alternative towards working smarter is that by working smarter, the worker itself could realize that he or she have mistakes or weakness on their own. Therefore, if they work smarter, they could know how to solve the problem at hand, and also if they have the time and space and also the availability to help others, they will incline to help them because of their superior intelligence. Next. Okay, critical incident number 2. This scene shows when Emily was called to her boss's office, Sylvie, and was discussing with her boss about her daily task for the day. During the discussion, Emily proposes a marketing strategy towards her boss, but was rejected or was put on hold in consideration of Emily's proposition. Next. Okay, in this scene, we have summarized that the ethical workplace actions that are involved in this sense is the confidence and the courage to speak out opinions. Having this in a workplace could improve the productivity of the idea, and also could enhance and establish a more firm and legit base of idea. This is also can create space and also opportunity for workers to share and also hear opinions and comments by others, and also take into consideration what comments they could use for the betterment of themselves. The effect of this is it allows and it promotes to workers to be more courage, more bold in speaking out opinions, which could improve the company idea process, and also could improve the company's ways of dealing or facing issues, problems, or new tasks that were given by clients. Other optional action that could be taken towards this ethical workplace morale is that workers could also be humble and be modest about their own opinion and hear out the others' opinion. Therefore, it could establish a more strong teamwork and also chemistry between the workers itself. Okay, next slide. Critical incident number 3. Okay, in this scene, it shows that Emily is in a party. Initially, the party was meant for the workers to socialize with each other. Okay, in this scene, Emily is shown to be explaining to an associate company that helped her company, which is Salva, in producing more marketing profit. Emily explained to her about her opinion and her idea, and also her perspective on how the mechanism of the market of the company that she works on of their product. And also this scene shows that Emily, while in a party, still maintains the professionalism that a worker should hold. Okay, next scene. Okay, in this scene, we can summarize just by looking at the short summary of the scene, which is professionalism. In this scene, Emily greatly shows the good moral value of maintaining professionalism, needless to say, wherever the place is. And also, by maintaining professionalism, a worker can represent the company and also the workplace that they currently work with a good image, or a clear and more viable representation of Emily's or any of the workers' company. Okay, the effect of maintaining professionalism can be seen towards the deliverance of message, and also the deliverance of the prospect of the person itself. If a person throws good characteristic, it will shows the representation of the company and how good the company train and practices the correct way of socializing, connecting, and also interacting with people. Other optional action that could be taken towards the professionalism is that when workers maintain their professionalism, it increases the possibility of other workers from other company to be open up to share about their company and also to look forward or to in the future make an agreement or a deal or a contract uh, that could combine both of the company's ideas into making a better one and increase the profit for the company itself. Okay, for the next slide, I will pass to Muhammad Fauzan to carry on explaining about the remaining critical incidents.
Thank you, Haqim. Thank you, Haqim, on your brief introduction and critical number 1 and number 2. So let's proceed in critical incident number 3 in Emily in Paris. In this scene, although it's a work-related party, the party was meant for the company workers to socialize with each other and with other company's manager. This scene depicts Emily maintaining the professionalism even though it is an informal party. Emily keep on explaining about the work she's done that made her move to Paris for her current work position. In these scenes, Emily's talk about work stuff during the party. Instead, this party should be in a professional way where we have to socialize. But instead, Emily used the opportunity to approach client to give information about the work itself during the party. So let's talk about the scene review based on my opinion and my friend Haqim. So in this scene, it appears Emily show professionalism. Professionalism means to conduct, aim, or qualities that characterize or marks a profession of professional persons. Having the most excellent quality of professionalism being induced to the person, daily life can really change the way the person react with someone else and how other reacts to them. So Emily show the professionalism impact where being professional around members and clients. So the effect on this behavior is affecting Emily's social life, and Emily's status is greatly influenced by the act of professionalism and how it's being delivered throughout their daily life. Thus, the impact of practicing the ethics of professionalism needles the purpose whether it's work or work for themselves. Because professionalism can really boost a person image and public and making them seem like a reputable and knowledgeable person. Instead of being professionalism, there's an option actions. Instead of constant being professionalism, at times there's a best to represent ourselves as a worker to be more friendly and a type of outgoing persons, either to be more willingly open to us in order for them to express and for us to express underlying emotions and deep thoughts about any other issues instead of work. This will help to smoothen the social interaction process if an individuals were involved in one, especially for companies' benefit. So move on to critical incident number 4. Critical incident number 4 depict in the scene where Emily just arrived at her office and was greeted by her male colleague. Her male colleague wishes her morning and welcome her, but was speaking in French language. Was to tease her because they know that Emily is an American, and American living in Paris is much more a little bit foreign for them. So it's very improper. But Emily replied using an improper language too, and it was not because of they were joking. It was a rude word to say to her colleague. So the word that she say was "go bleep yourself." It wasn't unnecessary to say that to a person when we got insulted, but I don't know. In some ways, it is better for us. It is good for us to come back to them. So let's talk about the scene review. The improper language used. The communication is a key part in workplace process. It allows people to connect with aspect that contributes toward creating a conducive environment for the workplace. Understanding the ethics and norms in communication provide a clear comprehension about the topic at hand. The usage of unnecessary language and improper words can be a little bit offensive to some people because people don't react to the way we think in our mind. People have different opinion and people have different ways on viewing life. So when we use a certain type of slur or any words that may offend people, we tend to make it as a joke, but indeed it is not a joke for some people. So the effect of this is poor communication skills and improper use of bad vocabulary and offensive language will ultimately ruin the chemistry of the social connection between staffs. This is allowed the emotion of rage, lies, and rumors spreading become a standard practice in the workplace environment. Thus, this thing is not a good environment in any type of workplace, whether in an office or even in a field of battlefield. So any other actions? There are numerous ways to counter the phenomena of the worker with poor sense of ethical communication skills. For example, creating a donation or swear jar for those workers who use unethical language and offensive words. Put a jar and then each of everyone's staff who curse or making a slur have to put $1 or something. So everyone have to pay for their mistakes. So let's talk about critical incident number 5. Incident number 5 the scene takes place at a cafe near Emily's office. Sylvie and Savoie, executive manager, Paul was having a farewell lunch with their other co-workers. During the farewell lunch, Paul discusses the future of Savoie and what other opportunity awaits the company. While discussing about that, Sylvie brought up Emily's name and asking everyone at the table about Emily. Emily's legibility in the company and what can Emily contribute to the company. Doubting Emily's potential because of her resentment towards Emily. So, and this scene is more a little bit about gossips, Sylvie trying to create a stanza about Emily's works culture, brings American to the Paris culture. It's not a little bit muddy for them. So let's talk about the scene review. The effect of this, the issue is about lack of mutual respect. Sylvie doesn't respect the presence of Emily in their work environment. Respect is a vital component in creating a productive working environment. Respect is earned with the effort and achievement of the worker. Having a mutual respect between workers help to build a good teamwork and establish a strong connection of the social aspect in the workers. So the effect on this issue will be the absence of mutual respect between each workers will create a problem in being appropriate and polite in workplace. Furthermore, enforcing the ideas of discrimination, stereotype, and prejudice in the workplace culture. This is not good. So any action will be workers can upsize to learn to know the boundaries between workers in terms of personal space and social life intervention. Increasing the depth of respect towards someone will allow oneself to behave and learn about others rather than lashing out and condemning them. So let's talk about critical incident number 6. Critical number 6, in this scene, Sylvie talking to Savoir, her executive manager, was talking about Savoir. Paul was just talking about trying to get in touch with Emily for a brand marketing, but instead Sylvie interrupt Emily and Paul discussion, saying that Sylvie want Emily to do a downgrade brand marketing about Vega Januar. It's about product, female stuff. It wasn't a good brand for certain people, but it is indeed a weird way, because Sylvie have a little respect towards Emily. So, the feelings from Sylvie is jealousy and resentment. The dissatisfaction amongst workers will hinder the process that is ongoing within the workplace, but it is an aspect of growth of the entire company or the development of an individual workers. Having resentment towards other will affect the workplace efficiency. Thus, this will affect the effect of jealousy and dissatisfaction between the workers will affect the company and product, as well as the dynamic of workplace environment. This will eliminate the concept of healthy competitive notion, which can boost the morality of workers towards achieving better result. So, what's are the optional actions? The preventive method in handling this issue is to educate workers on the coping mechanism towards accepting that sometimes other people accomplish better things than us. This will allow the workplace to be more prepared in handling internal crises that drive negative information in the worker's mind. So, in conclusion, Emily in Paris is clearly visualize the benefit and complication that commonly occur throughout every workplace environment. Understanding this issue will help the audience to make a clear and viable decisions in regards of aspects that they face similarly to the story. Therefore, accepting and practicing this norm of workplace culture will help to reduce stress and promote happiness and harmony in the workplace. So that's all from us, Haqim and Fauzan. Thank you for reviewing our assignments, and goodbye.